Am I the idiot for wanting to stay true to my wife's wishes? I, female 28, lost my wife M 2 years ago in an accident when our son was less than a year old. Throughout our entire relationship, from ages 20 to 26, she was very open about how her parents did not accept her, and that she'd given up on offering an olive branch. She seemed to have made peace with the fact that they weren't around anymore, and my family always embraced her with open arms, so she still had some support regardless. When we had our son, Em told me she didn't want her parents to know anything about our child, even through the grapevine. She had let her mom and dad know that we were getting married a few years prior, but they didn't respond very well to the news, so she didn't think they would change their tune. If they did ever manage to hear about our son's birth, they never contacted us to say anything about it. They didn't come to the funeral. I invited them because I thought that maybe they'd want to be there. She was their only child, and I assumed that any animosity they had about how she lived would have been overshadowed by the loss of her in general. I heard nothing from them for 2 years until a few weeks ago when I got a message request on FB from Em's mother. She said she and her husband wanted to know more about me and our son, so she invited me to get a cup of coffee since they were in town. I agreed to meet them to talk, but I left my son at home with my sister. They looked a little disappointed when I got there, and he wasn't with me, but they didn't say anything about that at first. They started off with a few normal questions: how we met, what Em's life was like, what our wedding was like. Then they started asking about when they could spend time with our son because they had a right to as his grandparents. I told them that my wife had made it very clear that she didn't want them to know anything about our baby. I felt like I was already betraying Em's wishes by agreeing to meet with them, and even showing them pictures of him, so the idea of them meeting him on top of all that was a little too much for me at the time. I said I needed to take a bit to think about whether or not I'd allow that. They both seemed upset about it, and they started to argue with me, so I shut the conversation down and said I'd contact them again when I made my decision. I went home and told my sister what happened, and she said that she understood I wanted to listen to Em's wishes, but she's gone now, and it's totally possible that her parents have changed. She felt it would be wrong of me to stop them from having a relationship with their daughter's only child. She also said I was just making it harder on myself by avoiding people who could help me raise my son, since now I'm doing it on my own. I just don't want to betray him. Info: I was the one who gave birth to our son. He's biologically mine. Em was emancipated at 17, but she did continue to try and speak with them on and off for a few years up until our wedding. I know that if they had changed, Em would have forgiven them because that's just the kind of person she was. I agreed to meet them because I wanted to know if they regretted how they treated her. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. Parents that are capable of not showing up at their own daughter's funeral should not be given access to additional children. You would very much be putting your child in danger by introducing these people into his life. This isn't just about your wife's wishes, but about the fact that they are not safe people and have already proven themselves bad with children. Comment 2. Not the idiot. And in my opinion, if they can't be bothered to show up for their own daughter's funeral, they don't deserve to know her son. I am so sorry for your loss. This is heartbreaking to read. Now for the update. I figured I might give you all an update as it's pretty much been handled now, but first I do want to say thanks to all of you who offered your responses. The majority of you were very kind about it, which I appreciated more than you know. My son and I went and brought Em flowers and just sat with her for a while. Little man ended up falling asleep while we were there, so I had a minute to clear my head and think things through. I listened to your suggestions and took a minute to consider what further action I could take, and if those actions would honor what Em would want and also be beneficial to our son. I contacted Em's mother to inform her that because our son is biologically mine, they don't maintain any legal right to see him, and I'm not interested in starting some unnecessary battle either. I also said that Em made it very clear when she was still here that she didn't want our son to know them. She had made that choice because of how they had treated her in the past, and had only been willing to change her mind about it if they had tried to grow as people. So it makes very little sense for me to allow them into his life if they have not done that. I told her goodbye and I wished her well. She responded and said that she understood why Em made such a firm decision, because she and her husband did things that they could never take back or make up for. She told me she regretted every choice she'd ever made to make her daughter feel as though she wasn't loved. She also said that Em's dad was the one who made the decision for them to not attend the funeral. He didn't want to go, for reasons she didn't specify, but it's not hard to figure out, and because she's been a housewife for pretty much her entire marriage, I'm assuming she just didn't have the resources to get a plane ticket to fly here. She left it off by telling me that the only person who could forgive her isn't here anymore to hear her say sorry, but she still wanted me to know how much she wished she had said it before, and that for the sake of honoring what Em wanted, either she nor her husband would be trying to contact me again. I'm very thankful that there was no serious conflict or anything like that, and that Em's mom was civil about it, but I just wish that Em had been here to receive the apologies that she was owed. She had accepted that she couldn't change them, but she still wished that they would eventually see the light and repair their relationship. She deserved to know they came to regret what they'd done, or that her mom regrets it at the very least. Comment 1. You're the idiot. Wow, just wow. I can't believe the level of self-righteousness and stubbornness you're displaying here. Your wife made it clear that she didn't want her parents to know anything about your child, and yet you're determined to continue honoring her wishes even when her own mother reached out to you and expressed regret for the past. You're denying your son the opportunity to know his grandparents, who may have genuinely changed and want to establish a relationship with him. Comment 2. Wherever M is, she knows how they feel. I am sorry for your loss, but you have been an incredible OP to stick by your wife's wishes and boundaries. I wish you and your son the happiest of futures. I am pretty sure M will be watching you both with nothing but love and joy in seeing you develop your family. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for refusing to cook for my family? I, female 41, live with my husband, male 41, and daughters, 10, 17. Husband is a picky eater, which I've known about for 20 years. I'm used to making food and having my husband and our kids making faces, gagging, taking an hour to pick at a single serving, or just outright refusing to eat. My husband is notorious for coming home from work, taking one look at the dinner I've made, and opting for a frozen pizza. Most of the meals I make cater to their specific wants. Like spaghetti, female 10 only eats the plain noodles. Female 17 eats the noodles with a scrambled egg on top, no sauce. Husband only eats noodles with a specific brand of tomato sauce with ground beef in it. If I use any other sauce, even homemade, I'm going to be eating leftovers for a week. So it's just one recipe for spaghetti. These days, my husband complains that we have a lot of the same meals, over and over. It's true, but when I've explained why that's true, it doesn't seem to sink in. I can only make a few things that everyone in the family will reliably eat, and those get old. A couple of nights ago I made a shepherd's pie. I used a new recipe with seasoned ground beef, 3/3 like, peas, 2/3 like, and tomatoes, 1/3 like, 1/3 tolerate, with a turmeric mashed potato top layer, 2/3 will eat mashed potato. Predictably, female 10 ate a single bite then gagged and ended up throwing hers away. Female 17 ate part of a single bowl then put hers in the trash. Husband came home late and wasn't hungry. I was so tired of reactions to my food and putting in the effort for years, and it all finally came down on me at once. I burst into tears and cried all night and the next morning. So I told my husband that I was done cooking. From here on out, he would be responsible for evening meals. I would still do breakfast for the girls, and lunch when they weren't in school, but otherwise it was up to him. He said, "What about when I work late?" I told him he needed to figure it out. I told him that between him and the girls, I no longer found any joy in cooking and baking, that I hated the way he and the girls made me feel when they reacted to my food, that I was tired of the yuck faces and refusals to eat when I made something new, and that it broke my heart every time. This morning he had to work, so he got up early to do some meal prep. He was clearly angry. He said he doesn't understand why. I said I hated him. He said he doesn't know what to do and thinks I'm being unfair and punishing him. He said I make things that don't appeal to kids sometimes, and I can't expect them to like it when I make Greek-style lemon chicken soup. Female 17 enjoyed it, female 10 and husband hated it. I countered that I make plenty of chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, grilled cheese, etc., but that picky or not, there's such a thing as respect for a person's efforts. So Reddit, am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Of course. Not the idiot. OP, you have the patience of a saint to have cooked all these years and put up with their dismissive comments. They have to experience what it is like to have to sort out their own meals, to everyone's liking. Then maybe they will be more appreciative of your efforts. Comment 2. A 17-year-old needs to learn to cook. When she goes to college or out into the world, nobody is going to give a damn about her picky eating habits. She will shop/cook or starve. Now for the update. I spoke with each family member individually about their behavior. Female 10 apologized profusely and said that sometimes she doesn't like my cooking. Female 17, who has only been with us since she was 16 and didn't grow up with us. It was a bit too long and off topic for the original post, said she appreciated that I make varied recipes, even if she didn't always like them. She also said that she wanted to cook, but had seen husband and 10F's reactions to mine and was put off it. Husband accepted the TA judgment from the sub, and to his credit, he planned and executed every evening meal. The kids ate his meals, but husband's lack of finesse, over boiled vegetables, untrimmed meat, soggy pasta, etc., caused some pick-over meals from the kids. Everything was edible, though, and he very politely asked for some tips on things, like how long to cook rice, but I did not physically help. I reassured him that I wasn't trying to watch him fail, but that I needed him to learn a lesson. After a couple of weeks, both kids were tired of husband's oft-repeated recipes, homemade pizza, Korean beef/veg bowls, and nuggets/fries, and he was stressed trying to get home from work in time to get meals done. The very first night, female 10 cried over her dry, gross pizza crust. Husband fought her over it, and both of them looked to me to solve the issue. I redirected female 10 to husband, saying it's his call since it's his dinner. With several meals, he made way too much mediocre food and had to eat leftovers for days, which was cathartic. Eventually, I sat down with husband and we evaluated the fallout. Husband said it hurt when the girls didn't like his food, and it was hard to plan things ahead on nights he worked late. He also admitted he was in a rut for recipes and that it was hard to modify for people's preferences. There is now a posted schedule and rules set that all family members are expected to adhere to. Each kid picked a night to cook. Female 10 has Sunday, female 17 has Saturday. Husband and I split the weekdays according to our work schedule. Since he works late on Monday and Friday, I took those. I work Tuesday and Thursday nights, so those belong to him. Wednesday is a flex day. Anyone can cook, or we might go out, and group projects are encouraged. The rules are, no gagging, faces, or complaining. Cook chooses the meal. Period. Assistance may be requested by anyone. Special ingredient requests must be made a minimum of 2 days in advance. So far so good. Female 17 has been learning a lot of technique. Female 10 is thrilled to be addressed as chef by whoever is assisting her, and no one has yet broken any of the rules. Husband more easily asks for my advice when he's cooking, how to season, how long to cook things, which is a huge improvement. It's too early to declare victory, and it takes a long time to make permanent changes, but it's encouraging progress. Thanks everyone for the advice and the support. Here's to continued positive change. Comment 1. I'm so curious what meals they're cooking / you're all eating now. Everything you were cooking in your original post seemed reasonable. The original poster responded with, husband, Hungarian goulash, homemade pizza, beef soup, Korean beef / veg, sausage / veggie skillet. He's a very one-pot meal kind of person, but things tend to be underseasoned while simultaneously murdered with black pepper. Female 17, Chilean-style hot dogs, plus avocado, mayo, tomato, pancakes. She's also been learning pie craft. Female 10, spaghetti, chicken nuggets plus carrot sticks plus plain noodles. She's been learning how to balance flavors. As for me, I've made kai jiao with rice, shoyu ramen, and a few other things I've been wanting to make. It's nice to be free of the expectation to cater to people. I've stopped caring as much whether the family likes what I make since I'm doing it more for myself. Comment 2. This is great news. I'm glad your husband got a taste of his own medicine. Female 17, sounds like a great new addition to the family and will be learning lots of cooking skills for when she leaves home. Likewise with female 10, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps the channel grow. See you next time.